Hey everyone, today I would like to showcase converting this passenger car to have modern wheel sets. This is one of 3 passenger cars that came from a collection from my grandfather, and he had these as a kid, and a lot of people on one side of my family had these as a kid. I recently did a bit of mechanical and electrical and cosmetic restoration on these. However, recently, sadly, a couple of these took a trip to the floor off of a shelf. I was taking these off the shelf to run them, and I don't think I was accounting for the weird coupler heights, because these cars all have very wonky coupler heights. And 2 of the cars fell, both coaches, the other one identical to this one. They're both fine cosmetically. They both were kind of screwed up initially, so it's not really noticeable if there were any more scuffs. But one of these was really screwed over with the trucks. I think it landed on its bottom, which is the most vulnerable way for a car to land. Surprisingly, you'd think that the plastic shell would be. But the axles on this truck and this truck are out of whack. And they might just be out of the slots, but they never ran too good anyways. So I'm going to test converting this car to have the modern wheel sets, and this might be successful. If it isn't successful, I'm still going to post this just to show that it isn't successful. But with any hope, I'll be able to either make this work or it will just work. Usually you have to make things work in model rating, so I'm going to have to do a bit of work. But I think it would be cool to get these running on more, I guess, closer to 21st century trucks. These actually came off of a newer piece of rolling stock. Cheap 027 car. Definitely worth, I guess, sacrificing to make this car run better. So, how are we going to do this? I suppose the first thing is to remove the truck. The side frame's also got a little bent too. And by the way, I do have some spare passenger car trucks, or at least 027 passenger car trucks, that I'm actually currently using to repaint a set of passenger cars very much like these into this livery. They're more modern ones, because I wanted a set for me to run that looked like these, but didn't have the running problems. However, I still want to have both sets, so I'm going to work on this one to make it work to the best of my ability, and then see if I can do something with that. So let me get this axle out, which is easier said than done. But I just want to make sure that the roller bearings will actually, or, I mean, what am I saying? I'm using real railroad terms. The little spikes there will actually be at home in this truck. Oh, there we go, it's falling apart. And these post-war trucks are constructed a little more complicated than the other ones. So let's try inserting this into that. Oh. It rolls. What do you know? And it's not staying in there now. But what I'm probably going to do, let me see. Let me compare the axles here. Post-war one's a little bit longer. However, I'll probably just take either a vise or a pair of pliers and just kind of work this thing in a little bit, because it is bent out anyways. So I'm going to attempt to remove all that and get this together. Most of what I have in post-war, I don't run it a lot. I just have it for collecting purposes. And usually, I don't just have stuff to collect it. I'm not really that kind of guy. But sometimes if I get some pieces that I don't want to run a lot, but I just like having them because you got to have it. If you're an O-gauge collector, then yeah. It'll just stay on the shelf just to be displayed. Sometimes I'll run it just to make sure it works, because if I ever want to sell it, something that works is worth a lot better, or worth a lot more, I should say, than something that is not in operating condition, obviously. Let's see. However, I do like to run things like the F3s, the post-war F3s, because I like diesels. Haven't gotten a lot of post-war steam. I probably should, because those are cool. Well, here is the conversion. It is working good so far. A lot smoother, I can tell already. If you spin this, spins for a little bit, but if you spin this, keeps spinning for a long time. So part of that's age, part of it's a lack of rust and grime on the bearings, I suppose you could call them, or the points where the axles just kind of meet the side frames. It's good enough. I'm going to do the other truck, and I'll be right back with this thing assembled again. Alright, here is the test on the track. Our patient, well, the lights are working. The lights look good. Keep in mind there might be a little flicker from the lights just because the wiring is just kind of makeshift right now because I got to redo some of the solder joints because apparently I didn't really sand the surfaces that I was going to solder and add flux and whatever. Before I soldered, I just did a quick job on these a few weeks ago, so I'm going to have to redo that, but it rolls incredibly smoothly. And yeah, the lights do flicker a little bit, but I am assuming that that is mostly due to my, whoa, I'm adjusting the wiring as we speak. That's mostly due to, well, the fact that most of the wires aren't connected. So now all the wires are like disconnected, but I know how to wire these up. So on to the actual part. First of all, we do know it picks up electricity as good as the postwar wheels, if not better. And this thing rolls like a dream. So much better than its postwar counterpart. I'll get the postwar car. You push it around, it just rolls like that far with that amount of force. But if you push it that far with that amount of force, hang on, rolls a little bit further, but it has so much less resistance, mostly just because they're newer and they have a smarter design in there. Plus, you won't have to oil this as much as this one. So I would definitely recommend this for any pieces of equipment that are post-war where the wheels are too far gone. Just replace the wheels altogether with the brand new ones. You don't even have to replace the trucks. They just fit right into the slots. You do have to make a couple minor modifications with some tabs that pick up power. You'll be able to figure that out as you go along. But I would definitely recommend this tip. So that's my contribution to your hobby. And if you do a lot of post-war stuff, I definitely recommend this. If you're not keeping stuff all original, definitely do this. It will definitely pay off. It's only like 10 minutes of work per car. And now that I see this, someday I might have to do this kind of work on both of the other cars. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we're going to leave these cars. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.